One comprehensive question regarding the computation of GST liability, and this particular question has been asked in the revisionary test paper of May 2020 examination. Now, what information has been provided, we'll be discussing first. So here, Skylark Private Limited, Noida, Uttar Pradesh. So where the Skylark Private Limited is located? Skylark Private Limited is located in Uttar Pradesh. So where it is located? It is located where? In Uttar Pradesh. Skylark Private Limited is a private limited company. It is in UP. Is engaged in various kinds of commercial activities. It manufactures taxable goods. It's manufacturing what? Taxable goods. And also provides certain services. It's manufacturing taxable goods and it is also providing certain services. The company has branch office in New Delhi. Now, they are providing information that they are having a branch office, and this branch office is located where? In New Delhi. This branch office is located in New Delhi. The head office Noida and branch office in New Delhi are registered under GST. So their head office is in Noida, UP. This is HO. It is registered, as well as the branch office is also registered. So basically they are what? Coming under the ambit of establishment. In supply chapter we have discussed the establishment of distinct persons as per section 25(4). We have seen the same, and in case if there is a inter-branch transfer, the same would be leviable to GST. Now further they are providing that the branch office at New Delhi is eligible for full ITC. So now this is an important information from valuation point of view, that branch office is eligible for full input tax credit. Branch office is eligible for what? Full input tax credit. So in this case, whatever is the invoice value, in case if there is an inter-branch transaction, if there is what? Inter-branch transaction, and when we go for the valuation aspects, as per the provisions of Rule 28, here the invoice value shall be taken as the open market value, as the recipient branch is eligible for full input tax credit. Whatever value is charged in the invoice, the same will be taken as the open market value. The company has reported total turnover of 256 crores. Now they have reported total turnover. Total turnover has been reported rupees 256 crores. And further what they are providing is, for the month of August, they have provided the turnover. This is exclusive of GST. The following information is provided by the company in relation to the turnover. The turnover includes 45 crores from sale of securities. Turnover of 45 crores. 45 crores is from what? Sale of securities. This is from sale of securities. As you are aware, securities are neither goods nor services. Securities are neither goods nor services. Since securities are neither goods nor services, no GST liability arises in case of such transaction. No GST liability will arise in case of such transaction. Then the company supplied goods worth rupees 50 crores to ABC Limited in UK. Now the company has supplied kya? 50 crores have been supplied to ABC Limited. This is located in UK under LUT. This has been supplied under LUT. And here 30 crores have been received in foreign currency and 20 crores in Indian rupees. 30 crores in foreign currency and 20 crores in Indian rupees. So here when we are supplying under LUT, basically it will be regarded as export, and that export under LUT is what? A zero rated supply. This is a zero rated supply. And here, as per the provisions of section 16, since it is a zero rated supply, no GST liability will arise in such a case. GST liability won't arise in such a case. Then the next is, the company provided consulting services to Shipra and Sons in Nepal for rupees 30 crores. So here 30 crores is what? The consultancy services. Consultancy services, the same has been to Shipra and Sons Nepal, Sherpa and Sons Nepal. Shipra is Sherpa and Sons. It's Sherpa and Sons. Sherpa and Sons, it is in Nepal. Consultancy services. 30 crores. Entire consideration is received with the permission of RBI in Indian rupees. Now, entire consideration is received in INR, but the same has been received with the permission of RBI. Same has been received with the permission of RBI, and the services are these are services under LUT. Now basically this will also come under the ambit of export of service. How it will come under the ambit of export of service? Because why it will come under the ambit of export of service? Service supplier is located in India. Service recipient is what? Is located outside India. Located outside India, that is Nepal. And as per the normal provisions, the place of supply is the location of recipient. Place of supply is outside India. And here payment is received in Indian rupees with the permission of RBI. Payment is received in Indian rupees with permission of RBI. With permission of RBI. And it is not our distinct establishment. It is not an establishment of a distinct person. Hence, it tantamounts to export of service under LUT. Basically, it is also coming under the ambit of zero rated supply. This is also coming under the ambit of zero rated supply. Then the fourth one is, the turnover includes supply of goods worth 10 crores to Shanghai Zhenghua Trading Company Limited. Then the fourth point is, turnover to Shanghai Zhenghua Trading Company Limited. Trading Company Limited. Trading Company Limited. This is where? This is in China. It's a Chinese-based company. It's a China-based company. How much amount? Rupees 10 crores. Rupees 10 crores is here. Now what they are saying is, as per the sale contract, the goods was to be assembled at Shanghai Jingguo Trading Companies Limited, office in Gurugram, Haryana. Here, now it has been provided that goods are to be assembled. Goods are to be assembled in Gurugram, Haryana. Now here, basically when the goods are to be assembled in Gurugram, Haryana, here the place of supply will be what? Place of supply, in case the supply involves, in case supply involves assembly or installation of goods, in case assembly or installation of goods is involved, as per the provisions of section 10, the place of supply will be, section 10(1)(d) provides for the same, 10(1)(d) provides for the same, and place of supply will be the place of assembly where the goods are so assembled. Place will be the place where the goods are so assembled. Place of such assembly or installation. So here it will be Haryana. Now location of supplier is in UP. Place of supply is in Haryana. So what will the transaction will be? The transaction will be an interstate supply. Transaction will be an interstate supply. Same will be liable to IGST. It cannot be regarded as export of goods. It cannot be regarded as export of goods, since for export there must be movement of goods from India to a place outside India. Export means what? Export basically means taking from India to a place outside India. But here, as such, the goods are in India only. It cannot be regarded as export. So this 10 crores will be interstate supply. It will be interstate supply. The payment of the goods is received in convertible foreign exchange. Though the payment is received in convertible foreign exchange the month of August 20XX itself, it does not amount to what? Export. Then fifth point is goods worth 20 crores were supplied under LUT to DEF Limited. Now fifth point, goods worth rupees 20 crores. Goods worth rupees 20 crores were supplied to, where the goods have been supplied to, DEF Private Limited, located in SEZ. DEF Private Limited, located in SEZ, and the same has been supplied under LUT. And this SEZ is in UP itself. Now here, supply to SEZ unit या SEZ developer is regarded as you are aware, it is regarded as what? Interstate supply. This is regarded as interstate supply. It is interstate supply. It is also kya? Zero rated supply. It is also zero rated supply. This is also kya? Zero rated supply. And since supplied under LUT, since the same is supplied in LUT, under LUT, no GST liability will arise. So this is the fifth point. Now we come to what? Sixth point. Goods worth rupees 40 lakhs were procured from vendor in Japan. While the goods were in transit, the company secured an order for the said goods. The goods were in transit and company secured an order for the said goods from 50 lakhs from buyer in Thailand. So here the goods were directly sent to Thailand without entering India. So here what happened is, in the sixth point, goods were purchased from Japan. Goods were purchased from Japan. And in transit, they have sold to, in transit the same have been sold to buyer in Thailand. Buyer in Thailand. The same has been sold to buyer in Thailand. Now basically goods do not enter India. We have seen that in case goods are purchased from a non-taxable territory and they are what? Transferred to another place in a non-taxable territory, and such goods do not enter India. In that particular circumstance, that is out-to-out transaction or merchant trading transactions, the same will not be neither regarded as supply of goods nor supply of services. So in case goods are supplied from a place in non-taxable territory, to another place in non-taxable territory. Goods are supplied from a place in non-taxable territory to another place in non-taxable territory. Without such goods entering into India. So para 7 of Schedule 3. Para 7 of Schedule 3 provides that. Para 7 of Schedule 3, it provides that. What it provides? Para 7 of Schedule 3. It shall be regarded neither as supply of goods nor supply of kya? Services. It shall be regarded neither as supply of goods. It shall be regarded neither as supply of goods nor services. The same shall be regarded neither as supply of goods nor services. Hence, no GST liability will arise. How much amount of sale consideration is there? On rupees 50 lakhs. In such case, no GST liability arises. Then they say that the company owns 3 immovable properties in Noida. company is owning 3. This is the 7th point. 3 immovable properties in Noida. And the first building is let out for a printing press at rupees 10 lakhs per month. Building 1, it is let out to printing press at rupees 10 lakhs per month. Building 2 is let out for residential purpose 5 lakh per month. Building 2 is let out for residential purpose 5 lakh per month. Let out for residential purpose और रुपीस क्या हो गया 5 lakh per month. This is building 2. And building 3 is let out to cold storage operator. Building 3 is let out to क्या cold storage operator. Building 3 is let out to cold storage operator. And the rent is 5 lakh per month. Now this will be chargeable to GST. This will be basically exempt from GST. As you already discussed in the exemption chapter, in case if any building is let out for residential purposes, residential building has been let out for residential purposes, residential dwelling let out, then in that particular circumstance, the same will be exempt. Now we have B3 building which has been given to a cold storage operator. Now the services which are provided by a cold storage operator in relation to agricultural produce are exempt. But we are giving the building on rent to cold storage operator, it will be what? Liable to GST. This will also be liable to GST. Now here, as you are aware, the place of supply in relation to immovable property, place of supply in relation to immovable property is what? The location of immovable property. So here it is in UP. So location of supplier is where? Location of supplier is in UP. Place of supply is also in UP. So the transaction will be regarded as what? An intrastate supply. It will be intrastate supply. And the same will be liable to GST, CGST plus SGST. Are you aware? So this point we have discussed. Now the remaining turnover comprised of taxable goods sold within the state and outside the state in the ratio of 3:2. Remaining turnover it is basically what? Supply of taxable goods which is intrastate and interstate. 3:2 is the ratio. Now the total turnover 256 crores includes the turnover referred to in point 1 and 7 above. So we have to find out the remaining turnover from this rupees 256 crores. What you have to reduce is the turnover as stated above. What you have to reduce is the turnover as stated above. From very beginning, we will be reducing 45 crores. We can see from here it will be much more easy. 45 crores is on account of securities minus rupees 45 crores, that is securities. Then rupees 50 crores minus 50 crores, that is on account of zero rated supply of goods. Then it is consultancy services 30 crores minus rupees 30 crores, that is consultancy services. Then came our interstate supply 10 crore rupees minus rupees 10 crores, that is interstate supply. This is 10 crore rupees. Then came 20 crores SEZ supply. This is what SEZ supply. This is SEZ supply. Then came merchant trading transaction 0.5 lakhs, 0.5 crores, sorry. This is 0.5 crores is what? This is merchant trading transaction or out-to-out transaction. Transactions are regarded neither as supply of goods nor supply of services. Next came our renting of immovable property minus 0.10 minus 0.05 and minus rupees 0.05, that is on account of renting of immovable property. Renting of immovable property. So you can calculate it properly. What is your remaining turnover? Please let me know. Remaining turnover. Then we have to divide the same it into interstate and intrastate supply. So the remaining turnover works out to be how much? You look how much remaining turnover it is. 256 crores minus 45 minus 50 minus 30 minus 10 minus 20 minus 0.5 minus 0.1 minus 0.05 and minus 0.05. It works out to be how much? It works out to be 100.30 crores. This is the remaining turnover, out of which intra-state supply will be, it is in the ratio of 3:2. Intra-state supply is 100.30 into 3 divided by 5. That is how much? 60.18. 60.18 crores. This is intra. And what is interstate supply? Interstate supply is 100.30 crores into 2 by 5. That is what? 40.12 crores. So this will be liable to CGST and SGST, and this will be liable to what? IGST. This information has been provided. The turnover of 256 crores includes the turnover in points number 1 to 7 above, as we already discussed the same. Now further, the question is still going on. In addition to the above, the company has transferred its stock taxable goods from Noida to Delhi branch. Now here, as we have seen, they are establishments of what? They are establishment of distinct persons. So if separately registered, so inter-branch transactions, even without consideration, inter-branch transactions even without consideration, will be regarded as supply. It will be regarded as supply. Liable to GST. Now the value declared in invoice is 4.5 crores. So since recipient branch, as we have already discussed, recipient branch is entitled to full ITC, as we have already discussed, since the recipient branch is entitled for what? Full input tax credit. As the recipient branch is entitled for full input tax credit, so invoice value shall be taken as open market value. So this 4.5 crores will be regarded as interstate supply of goods. It is interstate supply of goods. Such goods are sold to independent buyers. Cost is 10 crores and such goods are sold to independent buyers at 15 crores. So it doesn't matter at whatever amount it has been sold and whatever the cost. Here, since the recipient branch is entitled to full input tax credit, you will take only here 4.5 crores. Now the second point they are stating, the company has sent the goods worth 12 crores exclusive of GST to Messrs. Sharma Traders Haryana on approval basis. On 15 January, they have removed the same on 15 January and 15th February and 15th March. That has been removed on approval basis. ₹4 crores each. Now, as you are aware, if supply takes place before 6 months from the date of removal, you have to make an invoice at that time and time of supply will arise at that time. And in case supply does not take place within 6 months from removal, in case of sale on approval basis, it will be deemed supply on expiry of next day after the expiry of 6 months. After expiry of 6 months. And time of supply will arise at that time. So here, January, say February, March, April, May, June, July. Here it takes place on 15th of July. The supply is already taken effective. And here it will be 15th of August. And in this case, it will be 15th September. Since the goods have been approved after 6 months, therefore you have to calculate the GST liability for the month of August. Now you are asking that they compute the GST liability, CGST, SGST, IGST, as the case may be, of Skylark Private Limited Noida for the month of August, making suitable assumptions wherever required. So here the time of supply takes place in respect of this 4 crore rupees, and since the supplier is in Haryana, it will be an interstate supply liable to IGST. Now they are requiring you to compute the GST liability. So we'll be now looking the above points and computing the GST liability. So computation of GST liability of Skylark Private Limited for the month of August. This is the computation of GST liability of Skylark Private Limited for month of kya? August. So we'll be discussing now each and every point we have already discussed. Just we have to say, give the computational aspects now. You can refer the above working notes. One will be CGST, one will be SGST, one will be IGST. We can make separately what? First transaction is in relation to goods. One will be in respect of services and other one will be in respect of activities which may be regarded neither as supply of goods nor supply of services. So first one is in relation to those transactions which are neither regarded as supply of goods nor services. The second one is supply of goods to ABC Limited. Supply of goods to ABC Limited of UK under bond. You can write the value also. Basically, it is zero rated supply. Zero rated supply, not liable to GST because it is export under bond. What is the value? Value is 50 crore rupees as we have discussed above. No GST liability will arise on the same. Then is consultancy services to Shipra & Sons. We will consider this afterwards. Which points will be considered afterwards? We are marking with this. Then supply of goods to Shanghai Xingao Trading Company. Supply of goods to Shanghai Xingao Trading Company. How much it is? We have seen it is worth 10 crores. We have already written it's an interstate supply. See the above notes. It is interstate supply. And the same will be liable to IGST. As you are aware of the fact that what is the rate of GST on goods is 6% CGST, 6% SGST and 12% IGST. So it is 12% will be the rate and it will be what? 1.20 crores. All amount are in crores. Okay. Then third transaction in respect of goods worth rupees 20 crores are supplied under LUT to DF Limited. Goods supplied to DF Limited located in SEZ under LUT. How much goods have been supplied? Worth 20 crores. Now this is also regarded as kya? Zero rated supply, and GST liability will not arise. GST liability will not arise in such a case. No GST liability will arise. Then goods worth 40 lakhs were procured. This is out-to-out transaction. It will be regarded neither as supply of goods nor supply of services. This is a service transaction which will consider separately both these transactions. Then remaining turnover. Here, intrastate supplies of taxable goods, intrastate supply of taxable goods. What is the intrastate supply of taxable goods? C, 60.18 crores, and will be liable to CGST at rate of 6% and SGST at rate of 6%. So 60.18 into 6%, that is what? 60.18 3.6108 crores, 3.6108 crores. Then next is interstate supply of taxable goods. What is the interstate supply of taxable goods? See that. That is 40.12 crores. This is what? 40.12 crores. And what is the rate? That is 6%, 12% IGST will be levied because it is interstate supply. 40.12 into 12%. That works out to be 4.814440 crores. Next we come to kya? Here further two transactions were also there. That was what? One is interstate branch transfer. Interstate branch transfer. It is what amount will be open market value, as we have already discussed, 4.5 crores. And the GST liability will be 4.5 into 12%, 0.54 crores. Interstate branch transfer of taxable goods. And last one is in respect of goods. That is what? Goods sent on sale on approval basis. Goods sent on sale on approval basis in the month of here it is February, 15th Feb. It is how much? 4 crores. Here also the IGST liability will arise. So it works out to be how much? 4 into 12%, 0.48 crores. So here total GST liability in respect of goods, it will be total GST liability in respect of goods. What is the total GST liability in respect of goods? It is 3.6108, 3.6108, and here it is 1.20 plus 4.81440 plus 0.54 plus 0.48, that is 7.0344. Now we come to what? The transaction in relation to interstate supply or supply of services. B part is, say, supply of services. Supply of services. One is relating to what? Renting of immovable property, and other one is consultancy services provided to Sherpa and Company, Nepal. Consultancy services to Sherpa and Company, Nepal. It is 30 crores. Same is zero rated supply, as we have already discussed. Export, no GST liability arises on the same. Then comes our renting of immovable property. Building 1, 10 lakhs. That is what? 0.10 lakh. And building 3, 0.05 lakhs. And it is CGST and SGST. So 0.10 into 6%, that is 0. No, rate of GST here is services, I think so it is 18%. So it is 0.009. 0.009, and on B3 building it is 0.05 into 9%, that is 0.0045 and 0.0045. So here the total GST liability on services, is 0.009 plus 0.0045. That works out to be how much? 0.0135. 0.0135. Then number C is transactions which are regarded neither as supply of goods, neither as क्या? Supply of goods, nor supply of services. Transactions which are regarded neither as supply of goods nor the supply of services. In this we have what? Sale of securities is one transaction. Sale of securities. That is worth, transaction was worth 45 crores. No GST liability. And one is out-to-out transaction. You can mention that the same is goods purchased from vendor of Nepal, vendor of say Japan, and sold to Thailand. Out-of-out transaction. That was worth 0.50 lakhs. No GST liability will arise. So our total GST liability will be, this is B, and that was A. So total GST liability will be how much? Total GST liability will be A plus B. A plus B is the total GST liability. 3.6108 plus 0.135. That is 0.0135. 0.0135. 3.6243 is first one. 3.6243 is the CGST liability. 3.6243 is the SGST liability. Regarding the IGST liability, it is 7.0344. 7.0344. Now you have to properly write the working notes. What we have given here, the description, basically this is all coming under the ambit of the working notes. So you have to properly write the same And then this is a comprehensive question which has been discussed by us relating to what? The computation of GST liability, covering aspects of the transactions which are not regarded as supply of goods, transactions which are not regarded as supply of goods or neither supply of services, those transactions which are coming under the ambit of export, those transactions which are regarded as interstate supplies, those transactions which are regarded as intrastate supply, sale on approval basis, certain valuation principles have also been applied. So this was a comprehensive question which has been discussed by us, which has been asked is this time in revisionary test paper. This has been asked for May 2020. So this type of comprehensive questions can also be asked in your examination. So please do this question by hand so that you can be able to practice the same.